Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Nathan. So I'm excited to be coming to you live. I just got this idea. I was filming a video and I was like, I haven't gone live in forever. And I wanted to make it happen today because I think it will help somebody maybe in real time. But I put a post out last week that talked about the seven steps to connection that I really truly believe in. And I asked a question of out of those seven steps, what are the steps that are most challenging to you? And got some feedback on what people find challenging about connection when it comes to those steps. And today in this video, I wanted to focus on the idea of reaching out. So, hey, if you come on and you have a question, or maybe you watch this later, make sure leave it in the comments so I can come back and we can have a direct conversation with one another about whatever your question is. And I want to make this a regular thing that I start coming on live more often. If you've been with me for a long time, this is kind of how I originally started with No Label Defines Me. Is I came on and would do No Label Live, which was streamed directly on Facebook. So I want to call this Let's Talk About It. So what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about reaching out. So reaching out, let's talk about it. When I think about reaching out and what causes the most challenges for people, including myself, I think about two things. Number one, we have a story around two words that kind of represent one bigger topic as a whole. And those two words are busy and time. So we come up and we get ready to make this phone call, or we get ready to do this text message, email, however you're going to connect with people. And the idea of I'm too busy or they're too busy pops in, and it stops you from doing anything. It stops you from making that call. And what normally happens, we start to say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is definitely not promised, but it's a real story that comes up for people. So I have a question for you on when you think about reaching out and what stops you. What's that story that you're telling yourself? Is it around the idea that you're too busy or they're too busy and you don't have time? Or is it something else? I think it's important to realize where you're at in the journey of not wanting to reach out or thinking it's difficult to reach out, and getting real clear on what that looks like, because we are, as one of my coaches would say, we are meaning making machines. So everything that we do, we give it meaning, and that creates how we take action, because we ultimately want to prove our story right. So when there's a challenge in reaching out with somebody, what's happening is you're wanting to prove your story right, whatever that is. So, what is that story for you? Is it around time? Is it around busyness, or something else, like I said? Then the other thing that I thought about when I thought about what stops people from reaching out, I thought about the idea of prioritizing the relationship. And I'm not talking about prioritizing the relationship with the other person. I'm actually talking about looking at your relationship with yourself, and how are you prioritizing that? Because look, when somebody is not connecting, there's a fear there. And usually that fear is a fear of rejection. Like we already make up a story around, well, what happens if I reach out and that person doesn't pick up the phone, they don't answer, and you know, I give myself the meaning that it means that I'm rejected. So, how do we hedge against that? We don't do anything at all. Because if I don't take action, then I can't be rejected, right? So, what are you making the connection mean about you? And are you making it mean that, hey, this person, they're not going to pick up, they're not going to answer because what I'm bringing to the conversation isn't valuable. So, this really, when you boil it all down, it's a self worth issue. And it's something that we all go through as humans because connection is ultimately a human need. It's a human need. We all need connection in our life, and that ultimately is what the feeling of loneliness is signaling. It's signaling that, hey, I really want to be connected with another human being right now. I really want to be connected with somebody else right now. And so I think when you tackle these questions for yourself, so let's repeat the questions. So, number one, when you're able to answer, what is the story I'm telling myself around connecting with this person? Number one, what is that story? Number two, after you understand what that is, asking yourself, is that actually true? Is that actually true? And then number three, asking yourself, what happens if I don't reach out to this person and I never get to speak to them again? Am I going to regret that? That goes back to that prioritization of the relationship. How important is the relationship to you? Not only the relationship with yourself, but then going back to the relationship with this person. Because if it's a really important person, why are you letting um, something that you're making up stop you from connecting with that person? Because remember, we already talked about this word. We only get so much time. We only get so much time here, and we get to make the most of it. We get to make the most of our time. And, you know, the more you can practice this skill of reaching out, the more you're going to find the connections that you truly want in your life. And so, those are just some of my thoughts on reaching out. If you have anything else that you want to know about specifically when it comes to anything that I talked about here today, let me know. You can find me over on Instagram. That's probably where I'm most active in direct communication. So that's at the real Nathan Todd. Again, at the real Nathan Todd. And you can DM me questions over there. What I hope to do with this is to have more people start joining, to show up on a more regular basis doing these streams, and starting a dialogue with you guys, because I want to know what's important to you, what's important to you in your relationships, what's going on with anything around loneliness. If you have questions about disability, anything like that, I want to know what's going on and how I can best support you. And I want to talk about it. So, with that, if you liked it, give me a heart. Let me know so I know that you gained value out of this. And I'll see you during the next episode.